what it is that men and women are looking for essentially, right? So when a man sees a woman, he sees sex first. Like, I want to have sex before I can open up to this person.
Yeah.
If I know the sex is good and I enjoy the sex, then I can start to give some of myself. As opposed to women where they're like, I want to know if I can get to know you first before I can decide whether or not I want to let you nut inside of me. Yeah. So it's finding that middle ground of like, okay, well, how many dates is appropriate so you've gotten to know me enough and I still tolerate you enough to still want to have sex with you. And it's just this weird, how do we get there? But
I still tolerate
just
you enough.
Just fuck on the first date. Get it over with. If I like you enough, I'll call you.
Yeah.
Chemical X.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Chemical X podcast. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment down below. And as well, leave us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts.
I'm Alessia. It's
I'm
my girl.
And today we have a very special guest, Marcel. Welcome.
Or Mr. Red Flag himself.
You're not dressed in the right colors, though.
Look, there's a little bit of a broken heart here. You know, we've got some red flags. It's a baby pin, broken heart, meshing it together. That could be a red flag.
It's kind of really hard to get a guest on that's like ready to speak about red flags because I feel like we've asked people and they're like, we're not coming on to talk about it.
Yeah, they're like, I don't know if my girlfriend is going to, be happy with what I'm about to say.
But I feel like we got the perfect guest because he already has a podcast. So do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. So the Tall, Dark, and Ratchet podcast.
Why do we name it that?
Monday. I mean, it's a bit of a long description, but I feel like the easy way is just to kind of dissect how I look visually. But for me, the way I see the word ratchet is that it's something that kind of describes our generation now, where as opposed to Tall, Dark, and Handsome, maybe our parents' generation. If you Google Tall, Dark, and Handsome, there's not a single colored dude that pops up. It's all white dudes, dark features. So I was like, this doesn't really describe me genuinely. So I was like, what does? Ratchet. And then ratchet's
You
not
think
even
you're
like
ratchet?
I mean, I think we all have a little ratchetness. The tagline is, even the classiest people have ratchet tendencies.
I agree.
Ooh, I really agree with that.
I mean, I'm not classy, but I definitely got ratchet tendencies.
I think we all do, really.
And it's all subjective. So similar to red flags, I mean, if you don't have a red flag, that's a red flag.
Yeah.
If you think you don't have a red flag, that might be a red flag. So ultimately, we all have red flags.
Basically, we are all a red flag, but we're going to tell you which red flags are allowed and which ones are a negative.
Well, I've got a huge list. So you told me it was about red flags. So I don't know if the camera can see exactly how many red
He
flags.
was waiting for this.
I'm
day,
starting to think that you are the red flag.
I am.
You know what? That right there, red flag. Hates too many things about women.
So what's like your number one? Like if there was one thing a girl did, you would never text her back.
Leos. What are your signs?
I'm a Sagittarius.
You're too late to ask that now. What if I'm a Leo?
Are you?
No.
Okay, what's your sign?
Aquarius.
Ooh, you guys are toxic. Sag, I get along
Wow.
with. My dad's a Sag. Aquarius, kind of toxic.
What are you? What are you?
I'm a Virgo.
Okay.
It's the closest thing to
like
virgin.
Virgos.
So, look,
Okay.
it's,
Interesting. Tall, dark, and virgin. Somebody had actually told me that one of their red flags is like when a girl will ask first thing on a date is like, what's your sign? What's your birthday? What day were you born?
yeah, I've got
And
that.
you
on
You
here.
just did that one.
There's a way of doing it, right? So if I'm just asking like, what is your sign? That's one thing that I'm going to get from you. But it's like, what's your moon? What's your rising? What's like I need to know your whole natal chart. Like, it's a bit intrusive for you to know where I was born, how, like what time
How
of
I
the
was
day,
born.
like, how I was born. Was it
or-
a C-section? Was it, immaculate conception? Like, so it's just, some of those things are just like, I don't know if we should be doing this on date number 1.
Right.
Okay.
So that might be a red flag.
Right.
I think where it becomes a red flag is when somebody starts like judging you too hard. Like you're on a date and they're like, oh my God, you're a Sagittarius. Ew, never. Like, da-da-da-da. It's just like, okay, well,
Yeah, give me a chance. Because, I mean, for me to say Leos, and I'm joking, but that's just
Scorpios, by the way. Scorpios.
See, I get along with Scorpios. I think somebody explained it to me once. They were like, we are like earth signs or something like that. Something like that. So we get along. But
I think actually Scorpio is a water sign. I'm going to be honest.
Oh, well, they get along with earth signs, I think. So, but yeah, with Leos, I gave it a 6-month stint of dating somebody to be like, nah, this isn't going to work out.
Yeah, but you can't classify. I'm sorry, but I'm against this. You can't classify just because somebody is a certain sign. There's so much more to it. It doesn't mean that if you're that sign, every girl's gonna be like that, you know?
For sure. And I mean, the same could be said about, what might be a red flag to you might be a turn on to someone else, right?
Yeah.
And a sign to you might be like, oh, well, I've only had good experience with that person. But like, we all just base it off of our own experiences and conditionings and whatever. But
For sure.
Leos.
Scorpios.
But you know what? I say all these things. I used to say Cancer and Scorpio are my least favorite signs. Dated a Scorpio and dated 2 Cancers. So here we are, dating a Cancer.
Oh, no. I was going to say, like, did they both work out? Because if not, then maybe your theory still upholds.
No, because my best match actually was my worst relationship. So that's where I stand with signs, where I'm like, I do agree with some things. I think it's a good way to gauge somebody's personality and kind of like traits that they will have, because like Cancer, the biggest one is they're sensitive, which is true. And, that's something that doesn't work well with me, sensitive people, but every person is different. So it's just about how that sensitivity is brought out in them. You know what I mean?
True.
Like a Cancer could be really sensitive to jokes. That's not going to work with me. But if you're sensitive and you're emotional in the sense of like, we can talk about emotions and stuff like that, that's cool. I'm good with that. You know what I mean? I'm very in tune with my emotions. So
what is your moon rising, sir?
Your moon rising?
Cancer.
I think you're Cancer. You have Sag in your chart. I have Cancer in my chart. Anyways,
moving on from
horoscopes.
Not Harry Scopes. I'm trying to think what else
Well, I have
had.
a question for you.
Sure, I have an answer for you.
Hopefully. What's your relationship status? You're like, I just said, too intrusive.
No, that's not intrusive. Well, first of all, why?
No. It's a yes or no question.
So I am single, entirely single.
Okay.
However, I don't think it's an intrusive question, because if somebody wants to lie, they want to lie anyways. I could be married, but if I want you to know that I'm single, I'm single.
Yeah.
So it's not an intrusive
I mean, you're on a podcast. And,
Yeah, I mean, I talk shit every single week. People are relatively familiar at this stage, like what I'm dealing with in my life. Like I tried a thing in the pandemic. That didn't really end well. So then I was just like, I'm just going to frolic and just be free.
And be free. What are you looking for?
I don't think I could say that I'm looking for something specific, which is like a very default generic answer. Like, well, I don't put expectations, but
I think that's a good thing in a way.
Yeah, because I feel like I've set myself up for failure in the past before. And that's actually another one of my red flags, is people who date with the intention of marriage, which I don't think that that's bad. But when you're literally like, I'm looking for a husband.
Yeah.
I'm like, cool.
Find a better hobby.
I'm open to marrying somebody, but I'm not like, this meal needs to lead to me dropping down on one knee and then till death do us part.
Well,
like
that's a solid point.
Yeah, that's a bit much. So I think dating with an intention isn't negative, but also having too much of an expectation is really setting yourself up for failure. So I don't know. Right now, I'm just kind of, roaming free. I was single for 7 years up until this most recent situation. So I'm very comfortable. Yeah, of course. Absolutely. Listen, like I told you, I am probably all of the red flags, but what makes it less egregious is that I'm transparent about it.
Yeah.
So at least I'm not like I'll be honest and say I'm a fuckboy, but I'm not a player, because I'm not playing games. I'm not here to be like, hey, like, I'm going to sell you the world and the dreams.
Yeah.
And we've said in the past that sometimes the guys who are fuckboys, they literally straight up say, like, I'm not looking for anything. Like, I just want to fuck. And then those are the girls that actually get so caught up in it, you know? It's sometimes when you're so honest that a girl just feels like they want to change you, or they're like, I'm going to change this guy who says he doesn't want to date me or just wants to fuck me. And that's where it becomes, like, so, like...
Well, that's exactly what it is. Women want to change the bad boy. Like, I can be the one to break the system and the simulation. Well, I feel like there's different stages of fuckboys. I used to have a blog, and I wrote, like, it was like 4 different styles of fuckboys. There's like the alpha one that, like, the very obvious, like, hey, I'm a fuckboy, and like just very just like testosterone, little dick energy, like that kind of guy. That's like the worst type of fuckboy.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Then there's like the unintentional fuckboy. Like, they're just so, like, socially awkward, but maybe they have some charm to them, but then they don't have, like, the confrontational skills to just end something, so they end up just, like, ghosting or breadcrumbing or whatever. So, like, that's like the unintentional fuckboy. So it's like, you're still a fuckboy, but it's just like, you didn't really mean to, you just haven't navigated the world properly. And then there's, like, the professional guy who's like, you know, very charming, clean cut. You could bring him home to your parents or whatever else, but refuses to commit. And he'll tell you like, you know, it's...
Ladies, which one are you dealing with right now? Write in the comments.
But at least, look, again, I think deal with as much of the tools as were provided in life in terms of just trying to be transparent, because a lot of people don't have those tough conversations. I say this all the time. If we treated relationships like booking an artist for a show, where if you get their rider and you're like, this doesn't work, that doesn't work, can we compromise? Should we still book you? Or you know what? I'm just going to have to go and find an entirely other act.
Right.
From the very onset, you'll know whether or not you should even be pursuing this.
Yeah.
But a lot of times people go in and they have their misconceptions or their own conditionings of what it means to be in a relationship.
Yeah, right.
Because like you, how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
24.
24. So you are 10 years younger than me.
Okay.
So my conditionings and what I've experienced in life are not going to be the same as you.
Right.
So the way that I saw my parents, you know, together, the movies and the TV shows that I consumed, the relationships that I've had and whatever else, I have an idea of what it means to be a boyfriend to me.
Right.
I have an idea of what it means to be a girlfriend to you, but then vice versa, you have the same different set of conditionings. So what ends up happening is like you're doing this casual thing and everything's cool. There's no rules, no expectations. But the minute it's like, you're my girlfriend now. We don't discuss what that actually means. It's just like, I like you enough that like this should be like mutually beneficial, whatever. So if I have never told you like, oh, you putting your arm around a guy in a picture rubs me the wrong way, then now I'm just like projecting some shit and I'm starting to have resentments and stuff like that.
Right.
When we could have just had that conversation. It may be tedious and kind of stressful at first, like, hey, I know we're just getting to know each other, but like,
yeah, that's why we say when you meet somebody and you're in the honeymoon stage or you're just recently dating them, you don't really know if like the person is like for you. I would say the first 6 months, you're still in honeymoon stage. Some people say 3 months. I think 6 months. You're still like a bit like not fully yourself. So to really know if someone's for you, it's
need to
hard
learn all the boundaries.
Yeah,
For
you
sure.
have to. It takes time.
just because you both like tacos, you find each other attractive, and you don't mind binging Seinfeld together, doesn't necessarily mean you share the same core values to spend an eternity with each other or whatever, right? So,
I think also a lot of people perceive themselves differently than they actually are. And I would say that's one of the biggest the reasons that relationships don't work out after that like stage, because they're not honest with themselves about what their boundaries are. Like everybody wants to be like the cool open girlfriend that doesn't care if you go to strip clubs, that doesn't care if you do this, that doesn't care if you do that. But really deep down, they're actually not like that, and
which
they
starts to hold resentment.
Right.
You start to be a different way, and you start hating them in a way, and
I
doing
think
things.
It's on both sides of the relationship too. Like men can be like that too, where they perceive themselves as this perfect boyfriend, this that, and they're not being honest with themselves, and therefore like that's where the relationship doesn't work, because we can have the talk of like, okay, what's your boundaries, and you could be like, oh, you know, I'm cool, I don't care, but then in reality you do. So
for sure.
I think there's like, even though you have that talk, I still think there's that period where you're figuring out really what the boundaries are of the person.
And
because
that's a challenging thing to explore, because sometimes you don't really know what your boundaries are until you're confronted with them. So just to give like a completely sidebar example. So do you know what an intimacy coordinator is?
No.
Okay, I didn't know up until this year either. So I had been booked for a show and they were like, so this scene deals with a lot of like nudity and like, you know, simulating sexual acts and stuff like that. Like, are you comfortable with certain things? So they're like, well, we're gonna have you speak to an intimacy coordinator, because they'll really flush out on what are the things that you're comfortable with. So I'm the kind of person where I'm like, look, it's acting, it's not a big deal, I'm sure I'll be comfortable with whatever, right? I'm like, as long as I don't have to put, you know, a man's member in my mouth, or like, you know, like somebody else is just like, you know, punching me in the junk, like I'm pretty sure I'll be chill with whatever. So then I speak to this intimacy coordinator and she was like, so how do you feel about simulating oral sex on a man? And then I was like, you know what? I don't know that I would be comfortable with my mom seeing me do that, because what if I'm good at it? Like, what? I don't know if that's something that I need the world to be seeing. Like, so
what if I'm amazing? What if my technique is just spectacular?
Yeah. So like for me, it's like, okay, yeah, it's easy to say like, oh, I'm gonna be down for whatever, but then you're asked something really specific or something really specific happens, and then you're just like,
and then it changes.
I don't know. So it's it's part of that, and also people always want to show the best of themselves.
Yeah.
So when whether it be curating a dating app or you're going on your first date through a friend or whatever the case is, you're trying to, I got to use my best jokes. I got to use, my best fit. I got to try to, bring her to the best place or whatever the case is. You're always trying to show people the best of. And then it takes a while for you to actually reveal who you are. Right. So I just tell people, I'm like, yo, be as unapologetically yourself on your dating app.
Yeah.
Because the worst case scenario, you won't see those people that don't swipe you, right?
Are you on a dating app?
So I'm banned from Tinder. Let me start by saying that.
Red flag.
The reason I'm banned from Tinder is because when I had a blog, I
wish we had a flag and we could just lift it every time.
No. So the reason why I would say that it's definitely, I don't know if it's a red flag, but it's
orange.
At least it's orange. There's a tint to it.
Like when we say this color right here, what Veronica's wearing?
Yeah, it's definitely that. Somewhere between like the inside of the flower to the outside of the flower.
I'm going to go more with the outside. You're blocked.
Sure. No, so what happened was when I had a blog, I just mass messaged all of my matches because I thought to myself, I'm like, oh, men don't read anyways. And if these women already find me attractive because we've matched, maybe they're more prone to saying, oh, let me see what this guy has to say. Turns out a lot of women prefer eggplant on Tinder than actually reading things. So I ended up getting reported a bunch of times, banned for life, so not on there.
Okay.
But I kind of like dabble between Hinge and Bumble.
Okay.
What I like about Bumble is that there's no pressure on the guy. It's like, you got to message me first. And if you say some dodo shit like, hi, I'm just going to say hi back. Because it's like, what are we doing here? You have all the power. Send me the first message. So if you're just going to say hi, it's like, Anyways, but Hinge.
What was the best message a girl sent to you that you were like, oh, I like that? Because obviously saying hi or anything very short is like, you don't stand out. There's no like personality really, you know?
Yeah, I don't know if I can say that what the best thing is. I'll tell you what the best thing would be is if because I've done this to women on Bumble where they'll send me some generic bullshit like, oh, I see that you're a comedian, like make me laugh. Rather than replying and just saying like, oh, here's a joke, whatever, I'll find one of the photos on their profile, and this might be a red flag. I'll find one of their pictures on their profile. I'll screenshot it and then Photoshop myself in there doing something completely random or whatever. And then it gives them a
That's
chuckle.
funny.
But
See,
it's
I would
creative.
like that.
It shows that there's some effort. It's unique because it's like I'm not doing like, just even if I copy pasted the same picture of myself into all these pictures.
What happens when 6 chicks are all saying he added his picture and said to be the same shit? Do you do that with everyone?
No, definitely
okay,
not. I've
good.
done that twice.
Okay.
And each time was like, there was a photo that just kind of screamed like, I need to be inserted into this thing.
Yeah.
Or actually, there was one time this girl was like, make me laugh, and I hated her boots so much in her picture because they're like up to here that I just photoshopped. I probably could find it in my camera roll later, but I photoshopped a Batman uniform on her kind of situation with the boots that she had going on there. And like, she laughed, but I laughed more knowing how petty I was. I was like, I hate your boots, and this is how I'm going to tell you I hate your boots.
Oh, you're like, babe, I'm laughing at you right now. This is no comedy. Like,
I don't know if she got that you hated her boots.
Either way, she looked like Batwoman or Batman or something.
And it wasn't Halloween.
No,
sure it wasn't you?
Not at all.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm getting like, I feel personally attacked because I love high boots. So at least now we know this would never work.
No. So here's the thing, right? Like there's a specific type. Like I've seen some high boots that work, and it depends on the person too. But like how tall are you?
5'7".
5'7". This girl looked like she was 5'1", and the boots took up a majority of her body.
Ariana Grande makes it work. Any girl can make it work.
Yeah, but Ariana Grande's get all the designer shit, and like they're making it work and whatever. But like this girl looked like she went to Ardene's, found some long joints, and was like, this is it. I am just gonna...
Ardene.
I don't know what it's called. I don't shop there.
It's not
like,
the
what do you want
first
to
time
tell
I've heard
you?
somebody pronounce it like
what
that.
What is it? Ardennes? What is it?
yeah.
I don't know. Like H&M. That's where you'll find me. Anyways.
Okay, so let's get into a couple of red flags.
Well, you mentioned designer. How you had spoken to us about a little red flag with that. Do you want to care to repeat?
Okay.
Before you say anything, just so you know, we both like designer stuff.
Yeah.
No, that's fine. And again, my gripe is not towards women who wear designer. It exists for a reason. It's popular for a reason. And maybe I'll add another one of these red flags to it just so that you kind of get a little bit of context as to what I'm talking about. It's when I see someone who is like draped in designer and also only ever has cash but then doesn't have a job is a red flag.
I mean, I can understand that for sure.
Well, it definitely is a red flag.
I mean, yeah.
Well, that's all it is.
Yeah.
So, and it's like, again,
it just raises the question of like,
what's going
on?
Yeah. Where is this coming from?
Yeah.
Right? But, I mean, we can rapid fire because I got a lot of these.
Okay,
red
let's
flags.
go. Shoot, let's go.
So if
You can throw in experiences and dates that it's
for
happened.
sure. And
Stories.
there's some on here that I'm sure I could probably.
Like I'll link her as well.
So relationships with her parents. So if she doesn't have like a relationship at all with her parents.
Okay.
That's a bit of a red flag to me.
Okay.
So like, what happened there?
Yeah.
Right.
Sometimes it could be justifiable. There could be, you know, some traumatic reasons or whoever knows. But just if I'm like just trying to get to know you, being like, oh, so like, you know, it just comes up in conversation like, oh, you're going back to the holidays to see your parents? Like, no, I don't talk to my parents.
Yeah.
Right. I feel the same way. Like if I were talking to a guy and that would happen, I would feel the same way. I think that can go both ways.
I think it has to do also with your own experience. Like if you're a really family person and you're really close with your family, I think going on a date with somebody or like meeting somebody who has no relationship at all, you're like, oh, well, like we're, you know,
I could already see the fights happening already.
Yeah.
Like,
you know,
Like I'm not even like that cool with my parents. Like I'm cool with them, but I'm not like I'll put it this way. My parents call me right now. I'll be like, hey, what's up? Like we'll talk and we'll have a good conversation. Keep it pushing. It's not like I have to call them every day or whatever.
Right.
But like if you're just like you see your parents call like, ew, my parents,
Yeah.
like block,
Right.
delete, like that's kind of crazy.
yeah.
next one.
If all of her highlights on Instagram are
scared.
of her partying on weekdays.
Okay,
That's a red
entirely
flag.
specific.
That
It's
is
very
specific.
Because here's the
Weekends are
thing.
allowed.
I guess that
Yeah.
goes back with the girl who's all in designer, doesn't work and is clubbing.
Yeah, see, because all these things kind of all intertwine.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not trying to paint like the specific red flag lady, but like a lot of these things, a certain kind of person will. Have
So guys,
some
he
of these.
hasn't told us what he's looking for, but by the end of this, we'll tell you exactly what he's looking for.
I'm looking for Waldo. Where's Waldo? No, I'm just kidding.
Maldita.
So if they have a lot of people blocked, that is
Okay.
a red.
Oh
fucking
my god, I
flag.
totally agree with
Yeah.
that.
I've never blocked anyone on anything ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Except for like creditors. Like I'll block you if you keep calling my phone being like, you owe from collections and
Yeah.
da da da. I'll be like, block.
I think girls like in general, like I have a couple people blocked because like people will like harass me or
Yeah.
like people will send me hate. But I think personal people like, oh, I fucking blocked her. Oh, I fucking blocked him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's like, okay, whoa, you're a little too like happy with that block button. Like why? You
Yeah,
know?
it just seems very like, okay, like you don't
you
have
have
to be
issues. Like you have too many problems with
but
people.
normally it's like insecurities within themselves. Like it's a whole thing.
It's a lack of confrontation, right?
Yeah.
And that kind of ties into also what we were kind of discussing prior is if they don't have any girlfriends.
Yeah.
Oh, that one is so
Or
big.
not even just that, if they keep rotating through a circle of girlfriends. Because
Yeah.
what I always say, and regardless if it's a girl, if it's a guy, if you're the common denominator in a lot of these like falling outs, you might be the red flag.
Yeah.
Because as much as they want to point the blame, like this person was so problematic, this person was so toxic, blah 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 blah. It's like,
Yeah.
okay.
After a while, you have to sit and think, like, am I maybe the problem?
Especially
Like,
if you have mutuals with those people.
Yeah.
And you know those people and you're like, nah, that
Yeah.
person's not really that problematic.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe you're the one
for
who's
me,
actually...
it's like, if I'll be speaking with girls and they'll be like, or they'll talk to a guy and they'll be like, I'm just like not a girl's girl. Like, I just get along better with guys. Like, I just like to chill with guys. Like, for me, you don't need to be a girl's girl in order to have a couple of girlfriends. Like, it's a huge red flag if you can't get along with any girls. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like, it doesn't make sense
Oh,
to
for
me.
sure.
I think it's like internalized misogyny where you
Yeah.
like kind of like try to be that, like they say like that pick me girl, like, oh, I'm one of the boys.
Oh,
like,
my God.
oh, like I don't do my makeup. Like, oh, I can't get along with you. Like, it's
But
just like,
it's
you know
just to
what?
like appeal to a guy and make
Yeah.
it seem like they're like one of the boys. But I don't think any guy is like, oh, well, she has girlfriends. Like, that sucks. Like, you know what I mean? I think they think it's better off to say something like that, but it's not.
I guess that one kind of follows into like, oh yeah, I have a lot of guy friends.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, like
Don't have too many girlfriends, but don't have too many guy friends.
No, here's the thing.
Never do anything right.
I'll give you a specific example, right? Or actually, hold on. Let's just forget I even said that. Let me make it real specific.
Are you fine if a girl has like, if you start dating a girl and she has like guy friends? Does that bother you?
No. That's why I wanted to make this really specific. If she has a straight bestie, though. If your straight friend is your bestie, and this is why I'm telling you this is maybe coming from my own trauma. Maybe I'm projecting.
Okay.
I once dated a girl, and she told me, she was like, yeah, this guy is just like, we're just friends. We've been friends since forever. Right? Come to find out, I go to the club, they're making out. Apparently, they've been fucking for years. So I'm like, hey, okay.
Right.
Now I'm just like, and that's the thing. A lot of these red flags, they're going to come from your own personalized traumas, right? Where you're just like, you see some shit and you're like, well, I guess I'm going to trust the next girl who has a, straight bestie or whatever. So it's like, I don't know. But that's not always the case. But I think that because I have friends who are women, so I believe that, yes, it makes sense that women would have friends that are men. So, but if it's like, if you're trying to be one of the boys for real, and you're like, all you have is guy friends and no girlfriends, it goes back to that first thing.
My rule of thumb is really like, if we met and you are already friends with them, then I'm okay with it. But if it's a friend that's coming in your life after we're together, that's when I'd be like, I am a little confused here. Yeah. And also I'd want to know the background behind them. Like, did they ever try? Did they ever hook up? I actually would feel more comfortable if I know they tried out the relationship and it didn't work. I'd feel more comfortable with them being friends than it's always being like a what if, maybe we'll end up sexual tension. Maybe we'll end up together in the future. Like, I would not be okay with that.
And that's the thing, is that women always hold the power in that situation. I hope you're aware of that. Like, there's never been a time where like
a guy is gonna be like,
like he's got like this like,
I don't want to ruin our friendship. Like, he's gonna try it out.
Especially if she's attractive. Like, come on. Like, if the guy's single and she's like, oh, like I really need you right now, blah blah blah, and he's just like, ew, like, nah, fam, like I'm good on that. Like, yo, go and do your own work. Like, no, that'd be crazy. But I don't know. If they're friends with all of their exes.
Yeah.
So you don't look at them as being mature.
Yeah, it's just kind of like, again, being in those situations, because I'm friends with some girls that I'm exes, but like, I also know that there may be a chance that I'll probably fuck them again one day down the line.
Wow, guys, you're hearing it from a guy first.
I'm letting you know. Like,
if
I'm friends with my exes, like, I'm the kind of person where like I like to spin the block. I like to stay, like, if I know that like it's comfortable there, it's like,
you're not gonna add a number.
Well, no, I'm past that.
That's how I go.
The score sheet is full. No, I'm just kidding. But
he's not kidding.
So like the whole like a lot of the exes thing is kind of just like.
Well, I think like. There's like a level. First of all,
you could be on good terms.
Yeah, but just like, why do you got to be besties with your ex? Like, what do you have to gain from this friendship with your ex? Like, you've learned everything. You know this person. You know where the relationship went. You know what they have to offer. Like, do you really need to continue a close relationship with an ex?
You see them out in person. It's fine. Hi, how are you? You don't want to be on bad terms like that, but I don't think it needs to be like,
let's have coffee, let's go for dinner, let's fucking...
I blame Jerry Seinfeld and Elaine Bennis because they made it work for 9 fucking seasons. It didn't work from episode 1. They tried to do a little, like, revisit, spin the block, hook up again. Then they just kept it pushing. Best of friends. That's not realistic, people.
It's just not. Because somebody's always going to want to fall back, you know?
Oh, 100%.
And old habits always die hard.
If she lives by Sex and the City.
That's a very specific.
There's a new season coming on, and I'm excited for it.
Okay, so liking Sex and the City, even loving Sex and the City is one thing. Modeling your life after, I need to be Sarah Jessica Parker in Sex and the City.
Never met anyone.
Even Sarah Jessica Parker recently spoke about how a lot of the things that were said in Sex and the City, like, she doesn't actually agree with.
Oh, so now here's actually a generational red flag that I think you'll find interesting. Because we evolve as people, right? So a red flag from the 90s might not be a red flag from the 2000s, might not be a red flag today, right? So if a woman has a lot of script tattoos in different languages, because if you were in the 90s, it'd be the Playboy Bunny and like the tramp stamp situation. Right. And then it gets into like, if you've got like some Buddhist thing. But also now, where you place your tattoo is also very problematic, because the new tramp stamp, you want to guess what the new tramp stamp is? So
you don't like daddy's girl on like a vagina?
Nah, I'm good on that. Yeah, I don't want to go down on some girl and all of a sudden I see like Trevor down there and I'm just like, no,
I'm just gonna close that.
You're like, well, my name's not on it.
Do you like a girl with tattoos?
Absolutely. So I know you can't tell because I'm literally covered from head to toe, but I have an entire leg sleeve tattoo. I've got tattoos kind of like scattered around me.
Red flag.
So like, of course. And it's all movie references too. And if
oh my god,
those movies might also be red flags.
Do you guys want to speak after this?
Yeah.
For sure. So, no. So the wrist is, I guess, like, that's not necessarily a tramp stamp because it's not like that egregious of a location.
But I don't mean like tramp stamp in the sense of like it's provocative.
Right.
I mean in like the
traditional, like,
basic bitch.
For sure. Well,
red
that's the
flag.
basic bitch. But the tramp stamp is this Rihanna situation that everyone's kind of got going on down here. Yeah.
Oh my god, I love that.
Because it was cute. It was cute. Like the first like 3 girls that did it.
So what tattoos do you like? Are you more of like a girl with a basic love free on the rib?
Actually, hold on. That's funny you say that. So look at this one right here. It says tattoo of
live,
laugh,
love,
live, or the infinity symbol.
Yeah,
so,
infinity symbol, red flag. Shout out to my aunt who has one on her wrist, and I even told her that it was a red flag.
My thing with tattoos is that it's like it's either how you place them and what the meaning is for you, right?
But see, my thing about tattoos is I feel like everyone has to give somebody a meaning behind a tattoo, and like somebody could just be like, fuck it, I just want that tattoo. Why does it always need to mean something?
Okay, and that's valid, but that's still something that meant something to you. You're like, I really fucked with this.
And
So,
like this
So that
tree.
in that case, then every tattoo would technically mean something.
Yes and no, because if I have a Playboy bunny on the back of my back and it's like, oh yeah, I like that, but it's like, why did you
I don't
like
think
that?
you
Because
saw my
everybody
living
else
room.
like that. Do you have a Playboy bunny on your chest?
I do not. I have no tattoos.
Okay. So I can't make fun of the
No, you can't.
No, but my
Yeah.
living room is Playboy themed. I don't know
That's
if you
fine.
registered
No,
when
because
you walked
again,
in.
like, so let's remember, because it was like the early 2000s or even late 90s when people first started getting tattoos that they got the Playboy bunny on them.
Mm-hmm.
But now having like memorabilia of Playboy is cool in your home, but just not on your lower back, because that shit is kind of
Oh my God, I'm kind of stressed. When I was in Greece, I was like, you know what? I'm like in an amazing headspace. I'm in the mood to get a tattoo, and I didn't know what I wanted to get, and I was messaging my friends. Maybe that's a red flag.
Red flag, absolutely.
Yes. And I was like, I don't want to get something that's basic, that's like live, laugh, love, but I want something that's like universe. I want something that has to do with the universe because I'm a big universe person, but I don't want to put like trust in the universe. So I'm trying in different languages, and it was just.
So you know what, I saw somebody recently on the vein of universe, like somewhere on their forum, they put their what the fuck is it called? Like your horoscopes, like but in the stars, the constellation. They put their constellation there, so it's like kind of like dot style tattoos or whatever.
Cool.
So then that way you look at it, it's like it's kind of faint, but at the same time, it's a reminder of your constellation kind of thing, right? So I mean, there's ways. Like I don't mind when if there's like small like pieces, but like I don't like when there's just like very scattered small pieces. Like if it's just like if there's like 8 on your arm, that's better than if there's 2 on your arm and they're just
guys.
Like,
he's very specific, and I'm starting to understand why he's single.
Listen, I can give you a documentary.
You could have tattoos, but like, what's
Not
the
2
ratio
on
over
one
here?
arm.
Like,
Guys, if you are looking for the perfect Christmas gift, or anything gift, really, you never know. Some of us have birthdays around Christmas.
well, it's me.
Does the discount code apply to you as well, or no? You're full price only.
I'm full price and then add tax.
Oh, and then add tax. Okay. But if you're looking for the perfect gift, we've got a couple of recommendations. And the first one is Manscaped. Guys, Manscaped is the best in below-the-waist grooming for men. They have all the products, anything from a razor, ear and nose hair, some ball deodorant, some ball preserver, anything you want, go check them out. And they even have a nice little performance package 4.0 where you can get them all in one for a nice price. So if you want to give your man what he's really been asking for, then head on over to manscaped.com.
Guys, use our discount code ChemicalX at checkout to receive 20% off your entire order, anything you want on Manscaped. And you can make multiple orders because your dad needs one, your boyfriend needs one, your sugar daddy needs one, everybody needs one. So head on to Manscaped and use our discount code ChemicalX at checkout to receive 20% off your entire order and free shipping. ChemicalX at checkout for 20% off and free shipping.
And once he's all shaven and clean and ready to go, The next step is to put on a nice fitted bespoke suit. Tailor-made for their body, made in Italy. What's better than that, actually?
I don't think there's anything better, and I don't think that girls find anything hotter than a man in a custom suit made for him. He's important always, but let me tell you, he's even more important when he's wearing a suit.
He's a notch. He just hits that notch right above.
Yeah.
So guys, check out Isotti. They are a new brand that is just established, and they make custom bespoke suits for men, tailor-made. You can check out their website. Anything you like, you're going to go on an app, basically take a body scan, and it's going to come to you perfectly made for you. And we are also providing you with a beautiful discount code.
Guys, use our discount code ChemicalX at checkout to receive 20% off anything on Isotti. That's ChemicalX at checkout for 20% off your first amazing custom-made suit to you.
Mm-hmm. And now, if you have somebody in your life that is a little more on the wild side and they like to get lit,
then head on to Neonific and get yourself an amazing custom-made neon sign. You can get it to say whatever you want. And if you wanted something a little smaller or something that was already made for like a friend, then you can also get that. There's a bunch of options, and it's like when you go to the hairdresser, you can ask for whatever you want. It's the same thing with Neonific. If you want it to be a certain color, if you want it to glow and like flash, you can do whatever. So head on to neonific.ca and use our discount code ChemicalX at checkout to receive 10% off and free shipping.
How do your Bumble chats go? Is it like send me pics of your tattoos and placement and meaning, please?
No, okay, so you're asking me what I like. So I'm going to tell you what I like and what I don't like. But like, it's not like I'm going to see that and be like vampire, like, oh no, like, no, it's whatever. If I fuck with the person, like, I've dated some people who had some egregious tattoos,
okay,
like some hideous shit, like some very like cheesy mermaid on their thigh and shit. And I'm like, all right, let's keep it pushing because the coochie's nice. Anyways.
I think we're doing more of a fuckboy episode.
Yeah, that's fine. It's whenever I'm here, it's always gonna be a fuckboy episode. Actually no, let me not.
No, say it.
I'll say this one. So,
don't do that to our followers.
No. So, and this is no shade to the people that I know who are in this thing, but anyone who's got like Herbalife or Monat or like any of like those like influencer like MLM marketing things on their page, and like they just saw like, if you don't get it then da 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 and whatever.
I kind of know what you mean.
It's like that to me is a red flag because I already know you are just too gullible. Like, and I've seen some people more successful, which is cool. Oh my god, are you gonna sell me some fucking protein powder from
Monat? Has done wonders for my hair.
Wait. I've had a friend who, because we always like say those fucking pyramid schemes are like such a joke, and I actually, one of my friends like got not persuaded into it, but she was like, Alessia, like I actually think like I'm gonna start. And because of my like experience with like girls attacking me and being like, you should start this, and like my aunt trying it out and it never working or whatever, I was like, from my experience, like to my friend, I don't think it would work. Like, and I put my negative like energy onto it, and then the girl who had messaged her like killed it, and she became like a multi-millionaire, and Monat like literally blew up, and every day she hates herself for not getting on that bandwagon. And so like some products actually are amazing, and I've tried Monat and it's actually really good, but so I know what you mean.
I love that for her. I love that for that millionaire. But if I was to look and see how many of those success stories actually came to fruition, it's slim. So, but what I mean is like, those people who come in late to the come up when it's already a thing that I know about. Like if I know about it, I promise you it's too late. It's too late. If you just came up and you just like, I'm seeing your first Monat post, I'm running for the hills because you've already missed the boat. You're at the bottom of the pyramid. That's why it's a pyramid scheme. There are people who are successful.
And the thing is, the girl was at the beginning.
But
she was at the beginning recruiting her when it wasn't a thing. So sometimes you have to take that risk. But anyway.
And it's tough because, again, you were now constantly being inundated and spammed with all of these requests for something. If it's not Forex, it's fucking, I got a microdosing mushroom company and I've got this and I've got that. So,
but you don't think if they work their ass off, even if they're at the bottom of the pyramid scheme, they can't make it?
No.
Tell your friend, listen, I wish you well.
Okay.
I hope for the best.
I don't know.
But it's a red flag for me.
Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely, I agree.
I mean, these are some easy ones we can kind of breeze through. So, like, if they have no ambition, that's like a pretty self-explanatory. If their phone is on light mode, that's personally for me, it's a red flag. I like dark mode on everything.
I was on dark mode for a while, but then I kind of switched back to light mode. I was like, I want to see what other people are seeing on my Instagram. Like,
I'm gonna be honest.
How are you seeing my pigs?
I feel personally attacked.
Yeah.
Okay.
Light mode.
That's fine. If they love Zac Efron, I don't know why I just threw that one in there, but I felt like I needed to.
Zac Efron.
This one applies for both men and women, and you'd maybe be surprised to hear a man saying it because it's always women talking about this. But if a woman has no bed frame, if you're just like matches straight up to the floor, I'm like, nah, sorry, this is not gonna work
Has
out.
that ever happened?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
What?
Oh my
Or it's
God.
like a futon, or it's just like it folds out
Okay,
kind of situation.
what?
I'm like, hey,
I've never met a girl who didn't have a bed frame.
Well,
I
I've
mean,
met a
you're
lot
also
of guys though who didn't know what a sheet was, and they
Oh,
just
that's
slept with a
crazy.
duvet, and that I cannot. do.
wait. So what? Hold on. They only had a duvet.
So they have like
but
the,
like on the mattress
cover. No, they have the mattress cover. No sheet.
No inner sheet.
Straight duvet. I don't like that.
Can I be
need
honest?
A barrier in between
my
duvet.
ex-boyfriend had that.
Red flag. Red flag.
So
X.
do those guys also? I feel like there's got to be a correlation to something else. Like those have to be the same guys that use a bar of soap only in the shower kind of situation.
A
Like,
3-in-1.
yeah,
Body
like that.
wash.
Yeah. The Head and Shoulders 3-in-1 or the Old Spice 3-in-1 or some shit like that.
My ex liked it because he just liked the feeling of. He didn't like having a sheet. He just preferred like his duvet.
Interesting.
But I
Sounds
always
like
had a
mommy
harder
issues.
time.
You know what I mean though? Like
I always had a harder time sleeping because I'm so used to a sheet that I was like, oh, something's gonna have to give here
Yeah.
because I can't do this.
But also, how do
Nah, I
you
would
just
hate
get a
that.
mattress cover? Like
That's what I'm
don't
trying
they
to say.
come
It
in a
comes
pack? What do you do
set.
with the sheet?
yeah,
Throw
they
it out?
do. They don't use it.
It comes in a set. That's the part I'm trying to wrap my head around. I'm like, you're giving yourself more work to do to try to toss that away or like try
Yeah.
to tuck that when you're
Trust
like
me, I met a
alternating
lot
and
of
stuff. Like
people, or like one pillow on a double bed.
a lot
Bitch,
of
what are you
people. How
doing?
many beds are you seeing? I'm just kidding. Go and you got some questions for this one over here. Oh, here's one that's like, bruh, this is not even a red flag. This is like the fucking magenta flag. Like
Okay.
whatever the fuck it is. If she has a filthy bathroom.
Okay, yeah.
You could be messy. You could have
Describe
a
the
little
difference
bit of
between
dirt.
messy and filthy because I'm feeling personally attacked once again.
This is your red flag for you, but take this one.
Look, I've seen washrooms where I am like, who died in here?
Okay.
Where the sink is just, it's just dilapidated. Like it's rusted and crusted and then like the around the toilet type of area is just full of film and grime. And then you've got all the products all over the place. You can't find the cap for the toothpaste. There's toothbrushes that the bristles are falling off the fucking brush.
That was the last time he saw her.
Yeah, well, I still hit, and the coochie smelled very much like what the washroom did, so it all kind of made sense.
Okay, so that's where the correlation is.
Yeah.
Do you feel like women are messier than men?
Messier, yes, not dirtier.
I would think so.
I
We have
agree.
so many more products, makeup. Like
That's what
almost
I think.
impossible to be cleaner than a guy who has a fucking deodorant stick.
Yeah,
like
no,
my
for
thing is
sure.
hot girls are messy, and it's because we have all our
It's because
hair
we're
dryers, our clothes. We know what we're doing. The pick me girl's probably not messy because she doesn't wear makeup.
That's
so-
a fact.
That's a
She's got
fact.
one sweatsuit, and
Yeah.
she's just like, no, I'm just
and a
playing.
hair, and she says,
I
I,
love
don't even
pick
brush
me.
my hair.
But yeah, no, for sure, that definitely makes sense. Like, it's very low maintenance for a man, and especially when it comes to like changing outfits. Like, women will try on 19 things before they step out, so then there's just like a lot of clutter and mess,
Right.
but it's not necessarily
Dirty.
because like that's gross.
Yeah.
Dirt is gross on
Dirt is gross.
for any gender.
Yeah, agree.
If someone is pushing their beliefs on you.
Right.
Oh yeah.
So if they're like anti-vax, vegan, it's cool to be those things,
wow, we just spoke about these
but
things.
when you're pushing it on someone else, because like I'm the kind of person where like if I take somebody out on a date, they're vegan, I'm not vegan, I will eat vegan. I'll just be like, okay, cool, whatever. That doesn't mean that I'm switching to vegan now because we're whatever.
Right.
So if I, in my own time,
would you date a girl though who's
I
vegan?
have.
Okay.
And we've come to compromises where like if we're going out, then I'll put it this way. She never pushed it on me. Always gave me the choice. But if you give me the choice, I'm going to do the conscious choice and try not to be like, you know, eating a freaking
raw
whatever.
steak.
I might have like something like, I might tone it down and just have some salmon or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'll be pescatarian while we eat out or whatever, right? But like, it's just when somebody's just like, oh, you do this and you do that and whatever. It's
well, that's literally with anything in life. If you push somebody to do something, they will literally do the opposite. If you actually just like do it in a chill way where you give them the option. Yeah.
And more often than not, those people are, what I find is that anybody who's really leaning so far on one side of a cause, they're hiding skeletons. And that doesn't matter what we're talking about, because there was a girl that I took out one time. She was vegan. She kept promoting, oh, vegan this, even my protein powder is vegan. Oh my God. Then she had to move. She's like, help me with my closet. Fur coat, leather boots, all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, whoa. So you just don't eat vegan, but you don't have no problems wearing Bambi all over the fucking place and shit. So I'm like, all right. So whenever I see like, and it goes with every single cause. Like if you go on Twitter and you see some dude who's just like so for the Me Too movement, like I'm in support of it, but I'm not going on Twitter every day being like, and then there's another sicko out there, and there's another sicko. I'm like, you've got skeletons. Like you're going so hard because you're trying to absolve yourself of something. And like it goes with every cause. So that's a red flag.
I definitely agree with that. And I think people who are so like pushing you, especially another one like right now is like anti-vax, anti-this or pro-vax. I just think like if you're that person that's going to be, especially on a first date, like I have nothing wrong with sharing your beliefs and like maybe educating somebody on like why you believe that and, you know, like opening their eyes.
Save it for the second date.
But you're on a first date and you're going, oh, ew, you did this, or what the fuck?
Yeah, very
like
judgmental
that's like, no.
off rip. It's like you're not a saint either.
And I think women are predominantly the judgmental ones when it comes to that. I feel like men are
not me.
I feel like men are shallowly judgmental. Like men will judge you off like physically, and they'll be like, they're very judgmental in that way. They'll be like, oh, she slept with 10 people, da da da. Oh, she did this, but it's very shallow. Whereas women will be like, ugh, you believe in that? Like that's disgusting. Like how the fuck could you believe that? And I think that's like just as bad as being shallowly judgmental. For sure.
I mean, yeah, and that's the thing. There's always going to be one thing that you might find like just whatever. A guy will be like, ah, and like it just becomes like this.
One time I was catering for an event. I was trying out a new job, and the girl I was working with was vegan. And we were passing around the plates, and then when we were behind, we were eating. She's like, "Well, I'm vegan." This, and I was like, "Oh, like I respect that, but like I'm not vegan." And she was like, and we were talking about dogs, and I was like, oh, I love dogs. She's like, so why aren't you vegan? And it's like, it doesn't make you any less like a lover for dogs because you're vegan. Like, I just feel like sometimes they can become very like opinionated and like,
well, you're gonna eat your dog, like what the fuck?
You know
like
it's
just so like get a life.
Next time somebody ever tries to press you on anything, any view whatsoever, right? You just have to say, so how do you feel about children's rights? And then they'll be like, well, obviously, like, I don't think like child labor is good and whatever else. It's like, all right, cool. So your cell phone was made in a sweatshop in China, which you use to go onto Twitter to express yourself about all these other things. Meanwhile, you're still on a device that's supported by child labor. Yeah. So shut your mouth, because you're just as guilty as the rest of us. Now let me eat my burger with bacon.
I mean, that's a really big problem. I see it all the time on TikTok. It's very like judgmental. People will like rip you for anything. Like there was like this whole thing with Shein, like, okay, Shein is the worst. Like you can't fucking shop at Shein. But all these people are shopping at Zara. All these people are shopping at H&M. All these people have an iPhone. They have Nikes. And it's like, you need to realize that like, you can't just, you're everybody is wrong. We're all doing something wrong. The person who is completely innocent is literally somebody who lives in the fucking forest. And even then people will be like, well, you cut down a tree to make your tree house and that took away oxygen.
You're never gonna make everybody happy. Just do whatever works for you.
And that's why it's just like, if you have certain beliefs and look, you love animals, you love animal rights, and you're like a big like activist with that,
then you're doing it for you.
It's like, you don't have to, I'm sure you're doing something that goes against that. So it's just like, keep that for yourself, keep what it's bringing to you, but you don't need to, you know, attack everyone else and point a gun to their head and say fucking PETA or nothing, you know?
And if you really want to get like annoying with it, you can literally say like, okay, so then why are some animals exempt from killing other animals, but we're technically animals, and when we kill animals, then it's a problem? So then should we cancel all the lions who are going around grabbing all the antelopes?
And
it's like,
suddenly we're talking about
like, where are we at in this like food chain?
Suddenly we lost all our vegan subscribers.
That's fine. They'll express themselves on Twitter on their slave phones. But I need to see both of your phone screensavers, because my next red flag is if it's a photo of yourself, that's a red flag.
I told you that.
So
I opened her phone the other day. I said, "Is this you?"
Okay,
and she
well,
was like,
let me explain something, okay? So for 2 years, I never put a screen. And it was always the one that came with the phone. And all my friends were like, "Alessia, you still haven't updated it." So I was like, I don't know what the fuck to put, but it wasn't a selfie of me.
still a red flag.
It was a
It's a
picture.
red flag.
Still a red flag. And
Anyway, guys, now it's Kendall Jenner, so fuck off,
It's an
everybody.
even worse red flag when they try to justify why they're on their
Fuck
own
off,
screen.
guys.
Honestly, I think the home screen that came with is actually a worse red flag. My screensaver is my vision board, so
That's a good screensaver to have.
Yeah.
A vision
Yeah.
board.
Yeah.
I mean, you're constantly reminding yourself of the things that you need to attain.
exactly. That's what
I'm
I said.
constantly telling myself why I love myself.
Kendall Jenner.
That's good. Self-love is good.
Exactly.
Can start to be a little toxic.
I mean, you did say Aquarius.
Are you okay? So, and I'm not trying to throw you under the bus, but since we've already dubbed you the queen of red flags,
Yes.
are you also the person that where if I'm like walking with you, let's say we're going out somewhere, and you catch your reflection somewhere, you have to turn to check yourself out?
Isn't that everyone?
No.
That's
No, it's
me
not.
for sure.
What?
I'll definitely.
No,
look
I'm
at
saying
my-
I thought that was everyone.
So okay, so if we're walking,
No,
down,
that's
like,
not
I don't know
everyone.
which street
Oh,
in
it's
like
absolutely
Montreal
me.
that has like a lot of like reflective type mirrors.
The
or
police
stuff
station
like that.
on St.
Okay,
Catherine
sure.
Street. I'm gonna be real
So
specific.
you're just like just zooming past, just like looking at yourself, like to me, or like if let's say.
But I've even dated a guy who did that.
yeah.
Okay,
You're like
so-
my boyfriend.
No, I feel like the occasional check, but like I'm talking like always. But okay, so let's say I'm sitting on this couch.
If there's
and
a mirror or anything,
here.
I'm always gonna look.
Okay. So if I'm having a conversation with you, I'm sitting on the couch, you're standing up, there's a mirror there, you're not even paying attention to me. You're having the conversation with me while staring at yourself in the mirror.
I mean, maybe for 2 seconds, but not the whole time.
You'll take 2-second breaks to start him.
It's given red flag.
Red flag.
I feel like a strong handshake is a red flag.
With a girl?
Both.
Like a man.
Okay,
A
so
guy's
when
trying
you're
to prove
going,
something, and a woman is also trying to prove something, but I don't think they're trying to prove
when
the
you're
same
going
thing.
for a job opportunity, they always say a strong handshake.
There's
but
let me show you the difference. This is like a nice handshake.
okay.
This,
Yeah,
I'm trying to prove a point. And it's like, for what? Who are you trying to like? Who enjoys that? Who's like, I respect
First of all, the
this
first
person.
red flag is if I'm going on a date and he wants to fucking handshake me, there's an issue. I went on a date recently and the guy literally fist pumped me. I promise you that was the last time I saw him.
What's wrong with a fist bump? Like, sup? Bro?
No, I'm not.
Hi, baby.
I'm not your bro. Like, no.
No.
Montreal is different. I don't think I've ever seen.
No,
somebody
that happened in New
fist
York.
bump.
It's a double kiss, I would say.
It was
It's like
just
reading.
very like, we're not brothers, we're not bros. Like, it's just weird.
Also for a
Like, you're
girl-
trying to sleep with me. Why would you fucking fist pump me?
Okay, so have you ever slept with somebody then fist bumped them after you had sex?
No.
Nah, see, now you're missing out. See, now that's true romance. That's true intimacy.
I fist bumped
When
my
you've
boyfriend
not, and then it's like,
sometimes.
that's when you know you've done a good job as a man, when a girl just like, yo, just daps you up. When she's just like,
Depends the personality though. Like some people are just like fist bump people. I'm not.
well,
a
why are
fist
you
bump-
having sex with sociopaths who are just like, after the job is complete, good night. And they
Well,
turn
there's
over,
ways.
Like,
Like,
a high
you
five.
you can hug someone. You can like touch them. It doesn't have to be a fist pump.
I feel like fist bumping a girl is always awkward though. Like I feel like I'm just
Okay,
like not
look.
meant to...
At least let's agree that when you know somebody and you get to that state where you could maybe feel like you can fist pump them, then fine. But you're getting to know me. We're at dinner. We're eating a fancy dinner.
Yeah,
Why are
that's
you
weird.
fist pumping me?
Yeah, that's weird. Okay, and I'm gonna. This is kind of completely off topic, but I'm not just curious now.
I love the debate though.
I don't know why this is gonna sound terrible. I actually shouldn't even need to say it. I don't need to say it, but I'm gonna say it anyways.
Okay.
Has either of you ever used seeking arrangements?
No.
No? Yes? Okay.
We're only honest on this podcast.
I mean, look, I've used seeking arrangements.
Oh really?
Okay.
Not to find sugar mamas, I was the sugar daddy at one
really?
stage in my life.
Interesting.
Okay.
When you were doing your MLM.
No, not quite.
Well,
The MLM, no. MLM, I was praying for a sugar mama, but no.
But
This
what
is
were you looking
afterwards.
for at that point?
So, and I'm going to give you an analogy. It's kind of fucked up.
Okay.
So, as a man, my experience in a gay bar, right? whenever I ask a guy, it's like, have you ever been to a gay bar? Most guys are like, oh no, like whatever. Or if they have, they'll be like, yeah, maybe like once or twice. The advantage a straight man has in a gay bar is that the women that typically go there, of course, let me specify, straight women that go there are typically going there because they have their gay besties and like, you know, they know they're not going to get approached by men and, you know, it's a safe environment. So by being the straight guy that goes inside of a gay bar, you're not posing a threat because you don't have to feel like you're competing with other guys to approach a woman. You're already checking off boxes for the women because they're like, oh, he's comfortable in this kind of a setting. He's not homophobic and whatever else. And because they go out there and they're constantly getting compliments from like their gay besties and like girls and whatever
they're just
else,
in a comfortable environment.
They're in a comfortable environment, but also they're in a place where it's like, okay, yeah, these compliments are nice, but it's not the same as a guy that I might potentially be interested in. So because he's got no competition, her guard is down, she's got boxes that are checked off, the success rate for a straight guy in a gay bar for straight women, significantly higher than to just go to a regular bar. There's no such thing as a regular bar.
Interesting.
So with seeking arrangements, because I'm not...
Explain to everyone what seeking arrangements is.
Sure. So what seeking arrangements is, it's an online dating app and website where they don't really tell you that it's for this, but it's designed for sugar daddies and sugar babies.
I think it is.
They try to say it on there that it's
but they can't physically probably say that. So
yeah, because that makes it too escorty, and then you start to get into that hot water. So, but anyways, so using that same analogy with the logic of seeking arrangements, right? If so, you've been on there, you could probably attest. Not a lot of attractive men on there.
No.
Predominantly older men on there.
Yeah, it was a very unsuccessful. Let me just, wrap that up. It was a very unsuccessful thing. It's fun to go on and you're like, I want to see what this is, but it's just like, ugh, like it's not what you're not going on there. Like I feel like you're getting to is like, you're not going on there finding your like hot, rich boyfriend. You know what I mean? It's not what you think it's going to be. It's just a lot of people that are actually just looking for a glorified escort, and it's so not what you would think it would be.
For sure.
But I mean, I'm sure people have found success, and I'm sure like some people do.
But it's the law of average is a lot higher.
Right.
So if you're going through like a Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, maybe 1 out of every 100 guys is a guy you could potentially see yourself dating. With seeking arrangements, maybe 1 out of every 1,000 guys that you might even consider going on a date with. But then you're also looking at the risk versus reward is significantly higher for seeking arrangements, because you might stumble on that guy who is wealthy and is like decent enough to look at that you can justify closing your eyes and taking a nut to the face.
But I also felt like
you caught that. You did.
I totally caught that.
But do we feel like I feel like a lot of people go on there and they think like, I'm just gonna find that rich guy who's hot and also young. Like you have to understand.
My thing is
so go ahead.
Just the point that I want to make is, my thing is, if I would see a guy on there who's hot, young, rich, I would say, this isn't right. Why are you here?
Perfect.
Yeah.
What are you doing here?
Exactly.
Why do you need to be here? If you're hot, rich, and young,
exactly.
you don't need to be here.
Then you have other issues.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Unless they can explain to you that same analogy with seeking arrangements. Because if they tell you, if you're going on seeking arrangements and you're seeing older guys, not very attractive, and then you stumble on a guy who's not that old, probably more attractive than most of the guys that you've run into, maybe not the most well off, but more well off than you're rolling the dice on like a Tinder, Bumble, Hinge where there's a lot of broke boys and whatever else. You're gonna be interested, you're being curious at least, and be like, why are you on here? What are you doing on here? And then you tell them, I want a woman who values herself enough to know that she doesn't want to settle for a broke boy on these other apps. So by going on seeking arrangements and being that outlier, the same way that if you're the straight guy in the gay bar, you're going to get people who are like, I don't get it. There must be a red flag here, or whatever the case is. Or you just want to be that person who, instead of having to make up in finances what you lack in social status, like a lot of these guys are, where they become presumptuous, where if they take you out to dinner, halfway through the meal, they're sitting next to you and they kind of assume they feel entitled to some shit. So if you can come with still, some charm and social skills and so on and so forth, but you have disposable income and you want to treat them nicely and whatever else, you're kind of both meeting at a certain level. You might not necessarily find the guy who you can cash out on and be set for life, but he's also not just like, oh, I'm going to find an escort and I'm just going to pay for sex. So it's this interesting medium ground that you can kind of explore on seeking arrangements. So I've been on there.
And how was your experience?
And I've had good experiences.
Really?
Absolutely.
I have a question for you.
Better experiences on seeking arrangements than Tinder before you got blocked?
Different experiences.
Okay.
Definitely.
So
Did you feel like the girls were a lot more mature on seeking arrangements? Less mature.
A lot of women didn't know what the fuck they wanted. They just wanted a lifestyle, but they didn't even know what that looked like. So a lot of women will go on there being like, well, yeah, I make good enough money for myself, but like there's a lot of like fancy things that I want that I just can't justify buying myself. So I just want those like materialistic things. And it's like, all right, cool. But then there's some women who are just like, yeah, I need help with my business. I just need somebody who's going to invest in me, in my time, whatever. And it's like, if we get along, then cool. We'll see what it is. But I got stories that I won't share here because this is a safe
we'll
space,
definitely do a part
this
two
is not
with
a
you.
safe space.
Yeah, it's not a safe space. That's why we're not going to get into that story. But there's been some exchanges that are kind of questionable.
Tell us one. Come on. Give us one.
Sure. So I was in Kelowna and I just moved into a new place.
Okay.
So I hadn't gotten a car yet. So I asked this girl, I was like, hey, if you, can you give me a lift to
Red
Costco?
flag.
So hold on. So it gets worse. So I was like, can you give me a lift to Costco? And we'll each have a cart. And then you can fill up your cart. I'll fill up my cart and I'll pay for both carts.
Okay.
So she's like, all right, cool. This is a great deal, whatever, right? We go to Costco. I'm just grabbing my essentials. I'm grabbing my peanut butter. I'm grabbing my coconut oil. I'm grabbing all the shit that I just need in my bulk, right?
Right.
I'm looking at her over at her cart, and I thought she was going to be wilding out, splurging, like, oh, let me get, like, whatever. But then I'm thinking to myself, it's Costco. Like, what can you actually get that's, like, really that crazy?
Oh, they sell Apple products there.
So she went and grabbed, like, the most expensive thing she got was, like, a little blanket that was, like, $80 or something like that. But, like, her cart was, like, $200.
Okay.
So I'm like, you didn't splurge all that crazy. So then I was like, okay, well, I'm also gonna go to the liquor store and grab some stuff if you want some stuff. She's like, okay, cool. Grab like a cheap vodka. So I'm like, yo, you like. So it was weird. She was willing to like milk someone, but then not milk someone.
Right.
So I'm like,
And
what is this weird?
did you find it a bit of a turn off
little
that
bit.
she didn't actually go for like the Ciroc, the Grey Goose, the champagne?
Yeah, just get something like, or at least ask me if this is
so
okay.
it's like men say they don't want a girl who's like high maintenance, but then they get a girl who's low maintenance,
But
and then they want.
No, but this is a very specific scenario.
Yeah,
This is
right.
a
You
seeking
guys
arrangement
met.
scenario.
Yeah.
We specifically met on a site,
Which is
where
crazy.
this is the dynamic.
Right.
So for you to just be like, oh yeah, let me get my shopping cart with like like less than $200 worth of stuff and a cheap bottle of vodka.
Interesting.
And I'm like, all right, cool. And then yeah,
I promise you it wouldn't be us.
I have a question for you. Would your perception of a girl change based on where you met her? Meaning, like, let's say you met her on Seeking Arrangements. Are you perceiving her differently than if you just met her on any other dating app? Are you going in with, like, a different kind of view on her?
Good question.
No. So the reason why, it is a good question, but the reason why I wouldn't is that the same way I was explaining how what Seeking Arrangements is being packaged as is this sugar daddy, sugar baby site, right? But that's like saying like, oh, I can't marry somebody on Tinder because it's a it's a fucking
Fuck
site.
site. What am I, 60?
Right.
It's a fuck site.
So what I think we constantly need to remind ourselves of is that we're all just people.
Yeah.
We're all just in this world thinking that we know what we want, but we never really actually know what we want until we're actually presented with something that we decide that, is something that's we want to explore or whatever. So if we look at like Tinder as a hookup app, Seeking Arrangements as a sugar daddy, sugar baby app, Hinge as like, a dating-ish app, and then whatever, Bumble as well, right? So you can still hook up on Hinge. You can marry somebody off Tinder, and you can date somebody off Seeking Arrangements.
Right.
But it's all about that person and what place they're at in their life. So if you're going into Seeking Arrangements and I'm settling for nothing but a sugar daddy, then that's the energy that you're going in there with, right? But if you meet somebody, you go out with them, guess what? You're going to have a human experience. It's not like there's a Seeking Arrangements logo hanging above you on the date
Like
the entire
Sims.
time where it's like, don't forget, this is what we're looking for. Like, if you genuinely, you're like, you know what? Like, okay, this guy's making me laugh a lot more than I thought, or like, he didn't catfish me or hatfish me, or all these different type of fish that are floating around in the dating sphere. You can evolve from whatever it is that you met each other on. So even though I met somebody on Bumble and I went in with the intention, like it shows you like, what are you looking for or whatever. And it's like, if I have relationship there, but I meet somebody and I'm like, we don't really get along, but I like your butt. Like, maybe we can hook up.
Yeah.
And then that's where that is.
I have
right?
a question. I have another question. Would you date a girl that you hooked up with on a first night?
Absolutely. My last situation was a 6-month thing and first night.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I don't like, and that's the other thing too, right? Is that I think that actually, there's two ways that you can look at it.
Yeah, definitely.
Where if because I've seen women who are like, the most insane one that I heard was 20 date rule.
Okay.
20 dates is a bit excessive. However, on those dates, she was comfortable with sucking dick.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking to myself, so you mean to tell me that I get 19 blowjobs before I get to fuck you, and then at that point I can still just swerve? Most dates that I go on, I might not get a blowjob. So if I'm getting 19 blowjobs, no effort done on my part, I don't got to do shit. I just got to lay back, nut, and go to sleep. Then I get to fuck? What kind of reward system is this? That's not a date rule. That's a beneficial thing for me. So I feel like sometimes when
I kind of feel the girl on that. So here's my logic behind that. Like, I rather... If I'm like not sure about a guy or we're hooking up and it's the beginning and I'm not sure if I want to have sex with him, I rather give them a blowjob than have sex with them. Like, to me, blowjobs are less personal than like having somebody inside me. And a lot of people will think the other way, but that's how I see it.
Okay.
I also think that goes with perceiving that like sleeping with a lot of people makes you a slut, like the number wise.
Yeah, it's giving more body count concern.
Yeah.
Well,
no, it's not really a body count thing. It's just more like I don't know if I want to sleep with. To me, it's just like a blowjob is nothing.
Yeah.
You know? And like I enjoy doing it. So like
Yeah.
why not? Well, I enjoy having sex too, but I'm just saying like it's not a body count thing, no.
Yeah, okay, so but I see what you mean. Like if that to you, but I've also seen women who consider themselves virgins who have sex in the ass. Yeah. So I feel like everyone kind of moves their goalposts from being like, well, this is acceptable, this is not acceptable, so on and so forth. Like, or even some women who rather sleep with somebody than kiss them because kissing's too intimate for them or whatever, right? Okay. So like everyone has their own specific set of standards or whatever. And I don't think anything's right, anything's wrong, but I do think that sometimes when you try to hold back, you might be setting yourself up for disappointment because you're investing a lot of time and now you're getting to like this person.
For sure.
And then you end up sleeping with them and then they still end up leaving you.
Yeah,
to the side
I think a lot of times people don't like to like sleep with somebody right away because it's kind of like their self mechanism or like they really like them and they're trying to make them like fall for them and they feel like if they give them sex too early, like they're just kind of gonna, you know what I mean, like disappear. So there's that too.
Which is fair to say.
But sometimes it just happens that way and you hit it off and you have sex right away and then you just like it works out and everything just flows. So I think you can't judge somebody off like just sleeping with them first night, just like you can't judge somebody for like wanting to take their time.
But I think that giving a rule, like saying like I don't fuck until the fifth
day,
like, I think that's
why
a
is
red
there
flag.
rules? Like if you're feeling it, then do it.
And it's also like what now you just made this a numbers thing. You just made this like I'm counting. Obviously, I'm counting down the dates. It's only normal if you're giving me a time limit. I'm gonna, work towards that. I think also people who, and I've done this in the past, I could attest to it, is like being like you don't want to sleep with somebody and then you pull the whole like, oh no, I don't sleep with somebody on the first day. Oh, I don't do this, I don't do that. I think it's just like we could just be open and just like say like it's either you don't want to or you do, like
obviously if the sex is trash for
but
one
why do you
reason
have to
another,
even go in a date being like I'm not sleeping with you? Like if you're feeling the vibes and you feel like you want to, then do it.
Yeah, I don't think it should be used as an excuse of I don't sleep with people on the first date. I think it's just like you feel the vibes. If you want to sleep with them, you do. If you don't, you don't. Yeah. You don't need to make this rule book of I don't do this, I don't do that, I don't do this, or use it as an excuse of why you don't want to sleep with them. I mean, there doesn't have to be a reason why.
To me, that sounds like very much like somebody who just got out of something that was really rough and they're just like I don't want to like
or they're
feel treated
off,
like that. They're treated like that right away. But like you said, I could just be at home with my calendar like, okay, I got one more strike and then I get to get the box or the coochie or whatever you want to call it. So I don't subscribe to that whole like withholding and shit, but it comes down to like what it is that men and women are looking for essentially, right? So when a man sees a woman, he sees sex first. Like I want to have sex before I can open up to this person. Yeah. If I know the sex is good and I enjoy the sex, then I can start to give some of myself. As opposed to women where they're like, I want to know if I can get to know you first before I can decide whether or not I want to let you nut inside of me. Yeah. So it's finding that middle ground of like, okay, well, how many dates is appropriate. So you've gotten to know me enough and I still tolerate you enough to still want to have sex with you. And it's just this weird, how do we get there? But
I still tolerate
just
you enough.
fuck on the first date. Get it over with. If I like you enough, I'll call you.
Yeah.
Oh, and the last red flag on this list. Well, there's a lot more, but some of them disregarded. Somebody actually told me it's a red flag if she breathes.
Sorry?
If she's alive, it's a red flag.
Oh,
That's the
100%.
biggest red flag for women is if she's alive.
Oh my God. When
We're all
I
red
had a
flags.
boyfriend and I was in COVID, he would breathe and that was a fucking red flag. Like,
Well,
why
what?
are you
Did
breathing?
he have like he needed a sleep apnea machine or
no,
something?
no,
He was
like just like,
gargling?
why are you breathing? Why are you moving? Why are you talking?
That's crazy.
Why are you blinking so loud?
But
Like,
it's
can you
also like
stop?
my humor. I'm just kidding. But don't breathe.
I mean, I think we're actually all red flags, and like a lot of people, like I'm a huge red flag person. Like anybody would look at me and be like, you are not dateable, but everybody has their person, you know. I think as much as we can talk about like red flags this, red flags that, like I'm the biggest red flag. My boyfriend has so many red flags. We all have red flags that but for it's
What do they say
subjective.
about two red flags together?
Makes a
They
very
make a
big
white
red
flag
flag.
of surrendering. They're like, yeah, we give up.
I have a
But it's
question
just-
for you. Do you believe in soulmates?
No. The reason I don't believe in soulmates
I don't either. So I'm just curious
is
to hear yours.
because who would have created these soulmates? And why are so few soulmates crossing paths?
Yeah,
with
like
each
I feel
other?
like you
Well,
could
what's your
connect.
definition of a
You can
soulmate?
Well, that's just
connect.
it. Like,
You could connect with so many other people, and just because you feel like you have one soulmate, like how do you know what else is out there in the world? Like you could have several soulmates.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
But a
Yeah.
soulmate
And-
can be more than one person.
for sure. And
Yeah.
I believe based
It can
on,
be in friendships. It can be in anything.
Yeah.
I don't want to diminish somebody else's definition being like, no, I've actually found my
Right.
soulmate or whatever. Like, cool,
Well, there's
based
a
on what it is
different
that you've done. Yeah, like based on what you know and what you've done, cool. If that's what works for you and you feel like you've made that happen, by all means, I hope you flourish. But for me personally, based on my experiences, I'm big on energy and I feel like I do mesh with certain people's energy more than other people's energy.
Yeah.
But I don't want to go as far as saying like, yeah, this is my soulmate or like this person was designed for me. We were
Right.
designed for each other. Like that, it's a bit far-fetched for me, but I don't know. I mean, to each their own. If somebody has their soulmate, lucky you. I hope it works out. Also, toxicity is my love language.
Well,
Okay,
guys,
so you like a crazy chick?
any guy who says they don't
Toxic
like
versus crazy.
any guy who says they don't like a crazy chick gets bored quick and then realizes that they want a crazy chick.
That's a fact. So
Guys like
I'm here for the
crazy girls.
toxicity. Look, like I said, the first thing I said on this whole thing was Leos. However, it was a great time. So
What about phone always facing downwards?
that
How do you
one
feel
is-
about that?
So here's my thing. And again, that goes back to the toxicity of the last person is that they were transparent about like, I am going to have my phone down. And it's not because of whatever, but like, I would also like if you had your phone down. I don't like this intrusiveness of just having your shit open. So I'm the kind of person where I'm so spiteful, I'll just have my shit open all the time. 'Cause
Yeah.
I have nothing to hide.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's a red flag. It depends. Like, it's more so the combination of the phone down with the mix with the body language as well,
Yeah.
right? So
Right.
if it's just kind of like you're like
Yeah.
doing this type
And you're
shit,
texting like this, like, that's the
then that's
difference.
more of a red flag than just you happen to just like through force of habit have your shit down, maybe because you don't like the light coming up or whatever.
Yeah.
Like it could be a bunch of different reasons.
What about if she still talks about her ex?
So if she still obsesses about talking about her ex, that's a problem. And also if she doesn't talk about her ex ever, as if it's this like buried, mummified situation that just can't be discussed ever, that's also a red flag.
Yeah, I
'Cause
agree.
Yeah.
why do you keep having to tell me about Hector?
And also, I think it's important to know about relationships. Like, I think sometimes I've been like dated people who were so secretive about their past relationship, and it's like, well, what happened? Like, I want to know more. Like, I feel uncomfortable because I don't know what the extent of this relationship was. Like, were you guys in love? Like, what happened? Like, why did you guys break up? Like, I think sometimes it's really important that you're open about that, because or else it's like, well, I feel like, you know, you dated this person for 2 years, and I don't know for 2 years of your life, like, what your headspace was, what you were going through. Was it a toxic relationship? How did it end? Did you get
agree.
cheated on? And people keeping that a secret, I actually find is like,
Facts.
so we're not sharing together. Like, oh, we're breaking that
I
connection.
think there's like, you don't have to go so in depth, but
No, but I
Yeah.
think being open and like, okay, this is how my relationship went. Like, yeah, you know, like I did love her and this happened. But like when somebody's just like, oh, I don't want to talk about it. Oh, no, I don't want to talk about my ex. I don't want to talk about this. It's like, well, I shared with you and I was open with you. Like you need to balance that back, or else why don't I know you for those 2 years?
It goes back to what we were talking about initially about you can say something, but giving a real example is what's going to make it click for you, right? So if you say that your love language is physical touch, and I'm just like thinking to myself like, okay, and then I just like tap your knee every 4 minutes being like, that's physical touch, isn't it? Like that's what it means to me. But if you're like, hey, so the one thing that I enjoyed about my last relationship is that we would cuddle while watching a movie on a couch in a specific way or whatever, then you can start to understand who that person is, what they enjoy, and so on and so forth, right? Which also brings me back to the thing that I never finished, which is we should always be very transparent from our dating apps. I have on my Hinge account that I toot in my sleep, that my nipples might as well be a G-spot. And there's something else too, but like, and some girl actually took my profile and made a TikTok that went viral because she was making fun of it. And I'm like, I don't think you understand. There's a lot of women out there who like to lick nipples. So you actually brought more cattle into
you
my
brought me
little
my target
situation.
market.
When she shares a dog with her ex.
Yeah, so that's iffy because like, so I've only ever loved one dog in my life. Like I don't dislike dogs, but there's only one dog that I loved, and it was a girl that I started seeing. She already had this dog, and when we broke up, I was like, so can I still visit the dog? She's like, no. And I still think about this dog to this day. So I would like a co-parenting situation to work, but the odds of that actually happening is kind of sus.
Yeah.
Because that's like the equivalent of like, you could be a crazy baby daddy. It's the same shit, right? So like, I don't know what your dynamic is in terms of visitation rights and like
somebody needs to cut the cord.
And the last one here I have is still follows all her exes, but makes him unfollow his.
Makes him
like she's following all her exes, but she makes you unfollow.
Do you follow your exes?
Well, okay, so because I only have technically 3 exes, because one passed away, may she rest. There's 2 that I don't follow, and one of them I follow because it was my first girlfriend ever, and it was so like
when something is so long ago.
And like, there's no way in hell I would ever sleep with that person ever again a day in my life. There's not like, there might be enough money in the world to try to get me to do it, but like just off my own fruition, like that's not happening. There's no alcohol in the world that make me do that shit. So yeah, like,
I hope she's not listening.
No, that's fine. Even if she is, I'll tell her straight to her face, yo, it's platonic. That's it.
And maybe she feels the same way.
For sure. I don't know.
He's like, I don't know about that.
My glow up was real. No, I'm just kidding.
But yeah, no, I think like a lot of girls will be like that. They'll be like, you know, fucking and follow everybody, follow every girl. But then, you know, their following is, you know, I mean, personally, I don't find people need to unfollow their ex. I think it's just if it's like there's still something, or it's very recent, or like there's like an issue there. Like, why are you still...
Yeah,
you know, why are you still in contact?
Unresolved.
But I'm not the type of person that I'm like unfollow right now. Like, and I'm also not like that. Like, somebody like one of my ex-boyfriends would be like, "Oh, unfollow this guy, unfollow this guy." But I was just like, okay, but like, it's just awkward for me. Like, I work with this, you know what I mean? Like, there was a lot of positions where I was like, I mean, sure, if that makes you feel better, but like, I find it actually makes it worse to go ahead and be like, unfollow. Like, that's like saying you're a problem. Like, like we talk about you, we have fights about you. You know what I mean? To unfollow somebody.
Exactly.
Whereas a lot
that's so true. Like, you know that at home,
we're fighting because I just unfollowed you.
Yeah, it's like that person who tries to make you choose between 2 friends. Like, it's either them or me. It's like, okay, well, it's definitely not you, because you're the kind of person that'll try to make me choose, and I don't play that shit. So like, somebody who's like, I'm gonna tell you who you can and can't associate with. It's like, no, sorry. If they've done something to you and there's a reason to, like, oh, they sent me some crazy messages in my DM or whatever else, then I can go ahead and do it. But if it's just because it makes me uncomfortable, the idea of you having access to this person's, you know, through a, you know, their social footprint online, it's like, what the fuck are we talking about here? Like, it's a fucking app. Go away. Grow up.
I think it's about being like conscious. Like, I'm not gonna still follow somebody like an ex of mine who's still coming after me and still like, but like, I personally, all my past like situations or relationships, we all left off on good terms. We're all chilling. Like, I don't have a problem with you. You don't have a problem with me. We're good. I don't have any sort of like, there was no crazy relationship where we broke up and it was like, oh, unblock, block. Like, I didn't have that. So it's like, I don't feel the need to bring that energy again, especially when it's like something so long ago or like so meaningless. But I think people that are like, oh, unfollow this girl, like, it's just like, you're actually creating a problem that doesn't
they're
exist.
projecting their insecurities.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times when you make somebody or a guy unfollow them, it only makes them think about them more. And then when you're out of the picture, I promise you, if he could follow 3 other people, I'll tell you right now who they're going to be, just to 1, get you mad, or 2, to...
Yeah, you're making them like...
You're making them think. It's literally like reverse psychology.
Yeah.
You want to act like you don't care.
Yeah.
Long story short, humans are trash. And stay single, because it
Well,
ain't going to work
guys,
out.
well, we hope you really enjoyed this episode on red flags, even though you learned that everyone is a red flag.
Yep. But I think everybody just has the person that's willing to put up with their red flags. Like I said, I'm a red flag, but my boyfriend is happy. Like, we just mesh with, you know, we have the right flags that fit together, and you will find that person. And I just think it's about being transparent and saying straight up, like, you know what, if you think that this about me is a red flag, then we're not good for each other. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna fake who I am so that we could date, and then 6 months down the line you realize that I'm really like this and it's a red flag for you.
So be yourself from the very beginning.
Write your red flags on your Tinder profile. And
Fuck on the first date.
where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram at the Marcel Williams. I'm also, I mean, I kind of post on TikTok, but who really uses TikTok at my age? And
Me.
I'm 10 years older. Twitter, don't really use that either, but Marcel_Williams. Snapchat, if you're sending nudes, it's just Marcel Williams. You can knock off the. And yeah, my PayPal is also Marcel Williams. So send it.
Okay, guys, there you have it. So be sure to PayPal him for a little tip for his work here, because he did
OnlyFans.
work today. He did work. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment down below, and follow us on Instagram, follow us on TikTok at the Chemical Eggs Podcast.
If you agree or disagree with some of the things he said, then write it in the comments and we'll be answering.
Not in my comments, because I will flame you the fuck up. I'm looking for some hate. Come, bring me the
Honestly,
hate.
all
I
our
dare
haters,
you.
they could go.
I'll bring them on.
See you next week.